Data from the Ghana Statistical Service shows that the continuous surge in transport and food prices, among others, across the country has pushed the national year-on-year inflation for April 2022 to 23.6%, which is over 13 percentage points higher than the upper band of government inflation target for 2022, which is 10%. Under the inflation targeting regime being operated by the central bank, policymakers generally prefer that the policy rate stays ahead of headline inflation. But for the first time in a long while, the key rate is trailing headline inflation by about 700 basis points, leaving the central bank in a difficult position. Speaking on the challenge with inflation, Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, said the situation is complicated, but a decision will be made by Monday on what to do about the policy rate.
So at the central bank, we had anticipated this. In November last year, we raised the policy rate by 100 basis points. And then we were rather surprised by the inflation rate, which came out later on after that, in February in particular, which triggered the 250 basis points adjustment in the policy rate. This week, the MPC will be meeting. I do not want to preempt what the committee will decide, but I think it's a very complicated situation. As you said, inflation is about nearly at 24%, and we need to take a position on what to do with the current policy rate at 17%.
Dr. Addison meanwhile stated that he was confident the rate of inflation had peaked and should begin to taper off for the rest of the year.
The government and the central bank are very much aware of the problem. We have had very major decisions of fiscal consolidation. Expenditures have been cut by 20% this year. And as I said earlier on, we had raised the policy rate by 250 basis points. We expect that these measures would serve as an anchor to inflation. We had raised the primary reserve requirements for banks, which has also drawn liquidity from the economy. So broadly, all these fiscal and monetary measures that have been put in place should impact on aggregate demand. Yes, a lot of the shocks that we are seeing now tend to be supply side in nature, with food price shocks, oil price shocks, but we think that the West has already gone through the system, and we expect that inflation will be tapering off for the rest of the year.